Hey folks, today we're going to be looking at Adventures Like You Skyrim Local Co-op again, but this time I won't ramble on as much. So we're going to be covering the default binds, basically a subset of those binds, the ones that are used in default Skyrim, and I'll also go over some of the more useful binds that I've added that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. So, to start off, we're actually going to do something new here and try to connect another player remotely to the session. So you can actually use remote play together to play Adventures Like You. And I'll be showing that today. So I got a second laptop that was just lying around here. And I'm going to invite my second Steam account through remote play together and see if that second player can control another character in game. So to start, we're going to need a third-party app called Remote Play Whatever, and this allows you to play games that you normally wouldn't be able to play with remote play together, like Skyrim and other single-player games. So if you go to your browser and go to this link, which I'll have in the description, we're going to download the most recent release. If you're on Windows, that would be the zip file here, and you're going to open it when you're done. And I'm going to create a little folder on my desktop and drop it in there. So remote play. Remote play whatever. And then we're going to just drop the files in there and load it up. So the first time you load it up, it'll probably say that Windows is trying to protect your PC. I'm going to run it anyway because it's not a virus. And so here you should see a list of your friends that are currently online. This is my account here, and I will be inviting that account to play. And so keep this open for now. We have to start up Skyrim first before inviting, and that's what I'm going to do now. I have this time Special Edition loaded up, and I've loaded in quite a few more mods, some recommendations you can see here, and additions. So we're going to launch Special Edition this time, not Anniversary Edition. And then while this loads, I'll get stuff set up on the other computer. Alright, so it's loaded in. I'm going to Alt-Tab out now, and then go back to Remote Play Whatever. And now I can send that invite to my friend, and it should have a little notification saying it was sent. You can see it here. And on the other computer now, I'm going to accept that invite. So give me just a second. So basically, there'll be a little invite sent through the browser, and it'll say open link through Steam. I'm going to now move over my controller to the other computer. Give me a moment to set this up. Alright, so this is player 1, so I'll unplug my other controller and move it over to the other computer. Just a second. Almost. Press A on the other controller, and you get a notification that says hold back to control remote session on the other computer. But can't do anything yet. We have to actually get into the game and load up a save. So let's do that with player 1 now. Alright, so this is a new character I made for this demonstration, and we're going to be doing the Bleak Falls Barrow quest. Everyone loves that quest, I think. So let's summon player 2. So the way to do that, and I should have been clear about this in the previous showcase, is you want to hold the back button, or the wait bind, and then while you're holding that button, you want to press the start button, or the pause bind. And that should bring up the summoning menu. So there should be that little window I X'd out earlier, and that will show you, will give you some tips on how to get started, and it should tell you how to access this menu as well. But if that menu does not show up, just remember to summon other players. You'll want to hold back and press start. So the two middle buttons on a PlayStation controller are back and start, and those are the ones you want to use. Alright, so player 2 should now be able to control their own character, should be able to control what they select in this menu. So I'm doing that on the other computer right now. And I'm going to summon player 2. Alright, so now I'm playing on two different computers, playing local co-op through remote play together. So let's start this quest, shall we?
What's the meaning of this interruption?
Okay, so since player 2 is closer to Earleth here when dialogue started, player 2 gets control of the dialogue. Alright, so let's just go through this real quick. You guys don't need to go through this dialogue. You've probably heard it a trillion times at this point. So let's just talk to the Jarl real quick and get started. So all the settings currently are pretty much default. I may change the camera settings later if it starts bumping around. You'll also notice the camera's kind of pitching a little bit. It's sort of like it's on the waves or something. That's auto pitch. You can disable that in the camera settings. I'll show you that once I'm done here. So let's go to settings. So under camera, here it is, camera pitch. You can disable this if you don't want it to auto pitch, and I'll do that in this demonstration.
It's in the most
so now the camera won't tip on its own to match the slope you're moving up or down. Alright, so while these folks talk about the quest we're about to embark on, let's go through the controls, shall we? So, the way the bind system works is a lot of the binds are triggered on release. That's a very important thing to remember. So see how I just unsheathed by clicking in the right stick? If I just hold it, so I'm holding the right stick right now, it's not unsheathing, it's not sheathing I should say. And when I let go, it then sheathes. So there's a bunch of binds that trigger on release. And the reason for this is I wanted to allow more binds to stack on top of each other. So let's take a look at power attack, for example. So you guys know, as in the default game, you can attack by pressing the right trigger. But in this mod, the way you trigger a power attack is you hold R1 and you tap RT, or right trigger. So that's how you do a power attack. And the thing to note here is if you want to chain power attacks back to back to back, you don't have to press both of those buttons again. Just keep R1 held and then press the right trigger. And you just keep pressing and releasing the right trigger. Now I'm out of stamina right now, so that's probably not a good example. But let me enable God mode so I can just show you with infinite stamina how you can keep triggering power attacks. Okay, so that's how you can press the bind multiple times. It should be more convenient because you only have to press one button. Okay, so another very important thing, second important thing to note about the binds is a lot of them are triggered with the L1 or left bumper and R1 or right bumper buttons. So those two buttons on their own do a very important thing as well. So L1 would allow you to switch this crosshair mode from regular, which is like a plus, right, to an X, which is the face target mode. So if you are in face target mode and you have your weapons out like I do right now, it will turn your character to face the crosshair position. So right now I have my crosshair on player 1, which is why I'm facing player 1. If I toggle it off, I can move freely without rotating to face him. Also, if you are attacking, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, but you'll face whatever actor you have highlighted. So I'm attacking, and when I attack, I face player 1. If you have your weapon sheathed, and even if you're in face target mode, it will not turn to face that target unless you are attacking. So let's say let's try quick slot casting, which I showed in my previous showcase. So let's equip it to the quick slot with the pause button, and the little tag will show up. And then let's actually sheathe, and then I'll change to face the target. When I start casting, see how I turn to face player 1. So basically, it'll only turn to face if you are attacking or you have your weapon out.
In the skeever hole of a city.
Thank you, Dagny. Thank you for interrupting. Anyway, so remember to use L1 and R1. If you want to reset your player's aim, which might happen every now and then, you'll press R1 and that'll reset your aim to flat. If you want to adjust your aim, you hold L1, R1, and move the right stick up and down, and this little arrow should show up unless you've turned off the aim pitch indicator, which is what this arrow is. You can look up and down and adjust your attack angle. So when you're not attacking, when you have your weapon unsheathed, it won't tilt your character until you start attacking, so it doesn't look awkward while you're just holding your weapon. But if you sheathe, it'll tilt your spine regardless. Okay, so that's basically the two most important things to remember. It's basically just to remember a lot of binds perform their action when you release them, and also remember that L1 and R1
Another
are very
wanderer,
important.
here to lick my father's boots. Good job.
Okay, Nelkir. Also, one more thing.
Brigands I can handle.
You can,
This talk of dragons? Worlds
I'll
gone
show
mad,
you
I
the
say.
camera controls. So the camera controls are probably the other thing that that takes some getting used to. And by default, you can hold R1 or right bumper and move the right stick around while holding R1, and that'll rotate the camera. And likewise for zoom, it's L1 instead. Hold L1 and move the right stick. Up, down, left, right. Left and right increases the camera height up and down. As you can see, I'm moving up and down the wall. If you want to reset the camera entirely, you'll want to hold L1, R1, and click the right stick in. And that'll reset the camera to its default orientation. So yeah, just remember L1 and R1 are important, and that takes up most of the new binds. Okay, so now these are the main controls that are already in Skyrim, so I'm going to just go over their new bindings. So activate, you highlight something with the crosshair by moving the right stick, and you press A. And boom, I go and I sit. Alright, let's get out of the chair, or the throne I should say. Attacking and blocking, I've shown you that already. That's the same as in vanilla. Right trigger to attack, left trigger will block. You can hold left trigger and press right trigger to bash. Those are all the same. Power attacking is different. I showed you that. You hold R1, and while holding R1, you press attack.
You should be taken to fight to the storm. Please.
Casting is the same as in default Skyrim. Hold the triggers, left and right trigger. Jumping, same as vanilla. You press Y or triangle. Sprinting, you hold B, which has been remapped from, I think it was, what, R1 in default Skyrim? I haven't played default in a while. So yeah, hold B to sprint. You have to hold it because I'll show you later, if you tap it, you'll do a dodge. So now you have to hold it for a bit before you start sprinting. Sheathing has been remapped from X to clicking the right stick in. Sneaking, clicking the left stick in, same as vanilla. Shouting has now been remapped from, sorry, shouting was R1. Shouting has been remapped from R1 to holding R1 and pressing A. I don't have a shout right now, so it tells me I don't. But that's how you shout. Okay, so for the main menus, you know, when you open up the tween menu, which in this mod has been remapped, so you don't really need to access the tween menu as often because you can access all four of these menus via D-pad. So see how up is skills, right is items, down is map, left is magic? That's how it's mapped out on the D-pad. So I go up, go to skills, right for inventory, down for map, left for magic. So that should be easy one to remember there. It just corresponds to D-pad directions now. And then in addition to that, favorites has been remapped to the back button. So in the center, left, that now opens up the favorites menu for ease of access. Tween menu has been remapped to R1 and start. So you hold R1, you press start. And if you kind of mirror that, the wait menu is now L1 and back. That'll open up the wait menu. Okay, so those are all the default game controls, I believe. Anything from here on out will be custom binds added by the mod. So I've showed you moving the crosshair, that's one of them. Rotating, zooming the camera, that's another one. Face crosshair position, that's another one that's new. That's tapping L1 or left bumper. Adjusting aim pitch, I told you L1 and R1, and moving the right stick up and down while L1 and R1 are held. Reset with R1 so you don't look like a fool running around town like this. Dodging, you tap B, not hold B, because that'll make you sprint if you hold it. And then we have special action, which usually performs an action you can't perform in default Skyrim, so you can block while you're unarmed, for example. Let me give player 2 a couple one-hand weapons.
Someone could get
And the
hurt.
guard did not like that.
Have I made myself clear?
I'm
See
sorry.
that it doesn't happen
Anyway, so
again.
now we're going to loot these two, and I'm going to show you dual-wield blocking. Actually did not loot one of them. Alright, let me loot this one again. Huh, doesn't seem to be looting it twice. Interesting. Let me just give it directly via the inventory. So let's go into inventory, and I'll go to player 2's inventory, and then I'll show off the tab switch. So you press back, that'll switch tabs, and then now you can go and press A on the mace, and it should give it to player 2. So now there's 2 maces. Alright, so he's got 2 maces. If I hold X, which is the special button, special action bind, he's actually blocking, so
Don't do that.
you can see he reacts when you swing. I have friendly fire off, so that's why it's not hitting him, but he does react to the swing, which means he's blocking. Okay, so anyway, aside from that, special action has a number of other uses. I showed you it allows you to cast from both hands with one button press. Obviously, my favorite, you can flop with it. You can also cycle emote idle. If your weapons are sheathed, you can hold X, and that'll choose different emote idles. So you can do different emotes. And then finally, the last new controls that you should be aware of. There are more, but this is probably the last one, or last couple that are useful on a regular basis. There's the debug menu, which is holding start and pressing back, and that'll bring up the debug menu. And then to desummon player 2, you hold back and press start, and that will open up the summoning menu. I think it's triggering something with remote play where it's not registering. So you'll have to do it with player 1 if you're using remote play. So if you're using remote play, use player 1 to desummon. You'll have to hold back and press start. Okay, so all of the other controls now are extra ones. You can read up on them. They're in the MCM here, or you can look at the binds breakdown I have on the Nexus page. There's a pretty cluttered image with all 70 binds, but it should be on the Nexus page. And of course, you can customize all these binds for each player. Okay, so that did take a while. Let's start the Bleak Falls Barrow quest. I'm going to look at my quest list and see if it is. Okay, so we have to talk to Farengar still. Let me do that real quick with player 2. So I am controlling 2 players with 2 controllers right now. So bear with my lack of dexterity.
When I say straight to the,
All right.
go to Bleak Falls Barrow.
So let's
Find
just
this tablet, no doubt interpret
stop talking to him now, and let's retrieve the Dragonstone. So we're going to exit. I'm actually going to do something that makes it easier for me to move both players. I'm going to just grab player 2 and take him along for a ride. So if player 2 or player 1's AFK, just grab that dude and carry him around until he's back. So we're going to do that. But we're going to fast travel to Riverwood because I'm not walking all the way there with that dead weight. So we're going to have to go from Riverwood to Bleak Falls Barrow. So that's the quest we're going to be doing. Bleak Falls Barrow. Okay, so quest marker's up there. I'm still in God mode. I'm going to turn that off when we get near to the dungeon, because I want to be able to sprint for now and not worry about it. I might add something like sprint has no cost when you're not in combat, kind of like what Elden Ring does. That might be a thing to add in the future, but for now and for this demonstration, I'm just going to sprint there while holding player 2. So So I'm sure this is not the way you're supposed to go, but in true Skyrim fashion, we're just gonna hop right up the mountain until we find the trail. And then hopefully show you a couple combat encounters. I'm actually going to show you something that's kind of a secret, but if you look all the way down, that will put whatever you've grabbed under you, and then if you jump, it'll kind of raise you up. This is sort of like the bucket glitch in vanilla Skyrim, where you hold the bucket at a certain angle while stepping on it, and that will make you fly. It's kind of similar to that. I probably shouldn't have dropped player 2. And player 1 has died. So this is the death screen. I did not intend to do that. I forgot we weren't in God mode. But gravity hurts as it normally does. Alright, so let's summon player 2 again. Get to show you the death screen for once. And fast travel back to Riverwood. Alright, let's try not to kill player 1 and player 2. By accident or otherwise. Alright, I think the correct way to go is actually up the path here. So I'm actually grab player 1 and player 2. Let's have God mode here just for a moment. I'll disable it. But I'm going to just basically run up this mountain here. And hopefully it won't take too long to get there. Now of course you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it so we can get to the quest location faster. Alright, this is the path, so we don't have to grab player 1 anymore, and I can turn off God mode. I think this is on novice difficulty, so I'm just, again, doing that. Oh, it's on adept. Alright, so we might have some fun trying to get 2 players to attack at the same time. So, we're on the path now. I know there's a couple bandits in here, so let's see what we can do. I'd rather let player 2 go in first, so player 2 can kill them. See if I can catch this projectile. I had a bit of trouble doing that last time I did this showcase, but yeah, I caught it with my face. I don't want to do that. That's a bad shot. Want to try again, buddy? Yeah, that's another bad shot. Alright, grab that one. So I had to press grab and then throw it back at him. So throwing requires that you switch the face crosshair mode to face the target, and then you hold the grab bind and it'll show the little projection of the trajectory, and then you release the bind and boom. Right back at you, buddy. So yeah. Now we can go back down. And I know there was probably a chest up there, but I want to get to the main dungeon first. So as you'll notice, the camera is auto-rotating in the direction that you guys are moving. And it'll stop rotating when you move your crosshair so that you can aim more precisely. Actually, yep, this is going the right way. There's going to be a lot of enemies up here. Spoiler alert, sorry about that. It's been, what, almost 14 years now since Skyrim came out. So yeah, I could do some sneaking and see if I can sneak archery my way all the way up there, just like in the old days, right? Let's see, are there any enemies? There's one guy right here, saw that. But yeah, if stuff gets hairy, I'm going to just enable God mode so you don't have to deal with another loading screen after I die. Alright, so let's just go up there. At least get a little closer. I thought that was a person. That's a rock. Sometimes it's hard to tell. You can also raise the camera up and kind of cheat and see where everything is. Allow you to plan your course of attack here. So you can adjust the pitch so you can actually shoot it like this and it'll fly way up. And boom! Sneak attack. So that's kind of neat. Reset your aim with R1 and that'll reset the trajectory as well. So I'm going to reset the camera so I can see. So yeah, these guys might be a bit of a pushover, and I wonder why. It's the first quest on vanilla Skyrim. There's no difficulty mods or anything. seem to have trouble with stairs. Okay, a kill move happened there. Unfortunately, party combat parameters UI was in the way, but that was a kill move. Wasn't able to show you guys that the first time either, but there's a kill move. So again, this is all being played right now on remote play together. I have the second controller plugged into another computer, and I am controlling both right now with both my hands. Alright, so I loot everything from him. That's another bind you can look into. I've gone into detail on all the other binds that I didn't cover in this video in my first video. So let's go in. Alright, we're going to go through here. There's an arrow there. Free arrows on every door. Alright. So this is probably a great opportunity to do another sneak attack. I guess if player 1 has a bow, player 1 does not have a bow. Let's see if I can give one to player 1. Okay, so if I press A here, I'm in player 2's inventory. That'll give player 1 a bow. And then boom, I can switch to it. And show you guys player 1 hitting a sneak attack. Boom. Sneak attack. Alright. So for this aim prediction, see how I missed there? You gotta kind of wait until... I don't have any arrows. You gotta wait until they kind of slow down a bit, or time your shots so that you don't shoot at them when they're moving around. Another kill move. Wow. Crazy. It's supposed to currently trigger at 33% per attack you make at 10% health or below. But if you spam the attack button, wow, this person can't shoot. It's kind of like me. So throw it right back at him. Boom. That projectile throw is customizable. You can also make it harder or easier. You can even have it just trigger on hold. So if you're holding down the grab bind, it'll just suck in whatever projectiles are heading in your general direction. Okay, so let's actually go through this a little faster. I'm going to show you two-player lockpicking again. This is something you can enable in the menu. So let's open it up. With both controllers. Player 1, this is player 1 moving the left stick. Player 2 moving the right stick. And you can now co-op and loot things. So player 1 gets control of the container. Also, if your crosshair is stuck on something and you move away from it, it'll show you where it is. There'll be a little circle around it, and after you lose line of sight, so I can't see it from this angle, it'll eventually recenter itself. So you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you have your crosshair as an X, which means you're facing the crosshair position, it will not recenter itself. It'll just stay where you put it. Because I've had multiple times where I wanted to aim at a specific location, so I want to shoot at exactly where my crosshair is, and it would just recenter itself. So now if you're in face crosshair mode, it will not recenter. Also, if you keep it like this and you move, the camera will auto-rotate based on what direction player 2 is facing in, and see how it auto-rotates towards player 1 instead of to the left where we're moving. That's by design. It's supposed to auto-rotate in the direction your player is facing. So if the camera's not rotating in the direction you're moving, it's probably because one of the crosshairs is on a target and you're facing that crosshair target. So switch it back to the plus mode, and then you can move freely. Alright, so we're going to head down here. I'll try to go through the rest of this a little faster, but I want to show you what happens when you pick up a quest item, which I couldn't show you in the previous video. So of course you want to loot important things like linen and ruined books. There is some use to looting a ton of things and having very high equip weight, but that's mainly for flopping, which you're not really doing here. So this dude has a little more health than I expected. So by default, I'm sure you remember Skyrim NPCs just love bashing. That's like the big thing, especially NPCs with a shield. So, gotta break through that shield if he has one and stop him from crashing. Okay, so notice here I wasn't putting my crosshair on him with player 1. I had player 2's crosshair on him. So when he dies, the quick loot menu opens, and player 2 gets dibs because player 2 had their crosshair on him. Now, if both players had crosshair on him and player 1 killed this poor guy, player 1 would actually get dibs because player 1 killed this bandit. So whoever kills the lootable NPC gets first dibs to loot menu if there are multiple people. Okay, so this is the big brain puzzle everyone loves, right? Oh, what could it be? Snake, snake, fish. Whoa. So player 2 can do this. Snake, snake. Fish. Whoa. And player 2 actually does the animation to pull the lever, even though they don't actually physically pull the lever. I haven't figured out why that is, but it just works partially, so I'll take it. Okay, so let's get the stuff looted here. So you can just hold A to cycle through objects. It'll highlight them with that little glowing shader, this one. You can also target stuff with your crosshair. If there's something you can't activate with one method or another, try the other method. And then if that fails, you can switch the camera back to the normal camera by clicking in the left stick and clicking the right stick. That'll return to regular third person camera for player 1, and then you'll be able to interact with things as you normally would in single player. If you want to switch back, click the right stick in on player 1's controller, and then you'll get back to the co-op camera. Okay, I'm doing mad damage here. 7. That's pretty good. I wonder if I can bash him off. I'm just out of stamina, so I guess not. What is this skeever doing? So if you're just attacking without your crosshair on an enemy, if you're facing them, it'll automatically kind of gravitate toward or rotate towards them. So this is kind of like a aim magnetism. And there's also a way to just aim without putting your crosshair on enemies if you're shooting a ranged weapon. That's the aim correction setting in MCM, so you can play around with that. Alright, so we're coming up on, I guess, the first boss fight of the game. Unless you consider the bear in Helgen to be the first boss fight. Nah, the first boss fight is probably this way. So, let's see if I die, because it's highly possible I'm not going to be able to control both people at once. And it's probably best to use flames, if I remember correctly. So, I can also cheese it by getting up here. That helps a little. I think player 1's going to have to come in clutch, because I don't know if player 2 can survive this. I'm not very good at this game, as you can tell. Alright, I'm out of
Don't let it get me.
okay, so almost didn't get player 2 killed. So player 2 has died. You have to go up to him and hold A and start reviving before the window elapses. By default, 30 seconds to revive. 30 seconds before he dies, I should say. And he also got stuck in the mud. So this allows me to show teleporting to another player. You hold R1, press up on the D-pad, and teleport to the other player.
Get me out of here.
I'm gonna heal up real quick. Actually, let's do
Get me out of here.
mace and healing in the left hand instead.
Don't leave me for arcade's sake.
It's Arvel the Swift. He's not so swift right now. Let's cut him
It's
down.
coming loose. I can feel it.
And let's actually talk to him if we can.
You fool.
No, we're not gonna talk to
with
him.
anyone.
Alright, so let's just follow Arvel. He's gonna get himself killed. There he goes.
It's so. I knew it.
Alright, let's let him deal with this. Actually, if someone walks over here, I can maybe trigger that trap there. Excuse me a sec. Alright, let's get through this. I'll try to use both players. It's going to be kind of hard to do. Okay, so I already killed that guy. I don't have to keep it. Arvel is dead. I did a kill move that was bugged. So that's cool. That jogger just ate dirt. Alright, let's loot all of them. Arvel. Alright, so I've opened up his inventory with player 2. Now I'm going to loot the golden claw. This is a quest item. It should go to player 1. Let's see if it's in player 1's inventory. There it is. Player 1 has it. And the reason it goes to player 1 is because if you're going to activate the door later, it has to be in player 1's inventory. Otherwise, it won't find the claw and it won't allow you to place the claw in the keyhole. Alright, let's make sure player 2 isn't dead. Also, another thing you'll probably notice is if you are in combat, the camera will stop auto-rotating if there's an enemy near you. So that's another sign of telling, there's another way of telling if you're in combat. This is, not great damage. I forgot I could do that. Cool. Also, if you're wondering, player 2 has a male child voice, and it's supposed to be Robin. You're like, why is there a kid voice? It's because it's player 2's voice. Well, I didn't catch the projectile, so player 1 has died. Alright. Oh, he's not dead. I gotta get closer. Alright, player 2, we better get back over there. He's only got like 10% left. 20%. Okay, so we're not looking too good. Let's heal up real quick. Probably gonna die going through there. Didn't. Let's go. I always get killed by that. While controlling 2 people, of course. So anyway, player 1 is not doing good health-wise. Let's get some healing in there. I'll attack player 2, please. I'm targeting player 1 while hitting him. That was very smart. Okay, going through. Let's keep moving. Are we still in combat? Yes, we are. There's an enemy nearby. This guy's a big old battle axe. I think using the two-hander here is probably the way to go. It's going to do more damage. I can still use flames if I need to, like killing. Get healing equipped. So player 1, you're going to have to do something. Well, player 2 is in bad shape. That was a good dodge for once. Player 2, good job, player 2. And that looted everything from all of them. Yeah, I better just equip healing to the quick slot from here on out, because I'm taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, shooting traps. This should work if you shoot an arrow at it. You'll have to face target so that it shoots at where your crosshair is pointed, so something like this. Let's see if player 1 dies. Might have to shoot the arrow at the string or something. There we go. So player 2 can trigger traps too. Alright, back to the bow, and onward we go. So it shouldn't be too long until we reach the end of the dungeon and the end of this showcase. I am over encumbered. Classic. 4 battle axes. Okay, yeah, I've been just picking everything up indiscriminately. Alright, so there should be another room or 2 here, and then we are at the end of the quest. Just everyone take your turn. I've got to switch controllers in. Alright. Do everything from there. Target this pull chain. Click 2. And keep going. What else can I show you guys? I can show you more of the secret mechanics, which aren't really a secret. But yeah, you can flop, slap, and throw objects you've seen throw. I haven't really done much slapping. That requires stamina. So that's something I can do next. Slapping only works, only does damage if the enemy you're slapping can be knocked down. So if you're slapping Draugr, it's fine. If you're slapping skeletons, it won't work, because they do not have a ragdoll animation, or you can't ragdoll them until they die. So don't slap skeletons. Try whittling down their health first, and then you can slap them. Alright, so this Draugr here, I think I can slap this Draugr. So that's slapping. Slapping also stops attacks, so if they start their attack animation, it'll stop them. See how it stops the attack animation? That's a customizable setting. Flopping does damage to you and what you hit. This is also customizable. You can turn it off. It's not your kind of thing. Reset your arms. You don't want to be doing a pseudo dab the whole game, or maybe you do, but R1. That's how you reset it. There goes the Draugr. Alright, I don't really remember where to go. I haven't done this quest in a long time. I usually just run around elsewhere and skip it. I'm just going to get this chest real quick. Okay, so 2-player lockpicking again. Good thing it's novice. Let's get that gold. And I'm going to just grab player 1 for now so we can move around a little faster. And I am encumbered. So let's get rid of all of this junk. I'm going to get arrested for littering at this rate. But yeah, let's get to the last room. Gotta loot all of the mushrooms too. I think I just went backwards, didn't I? Nope, I did not. Alright. So, another thing you can do is throw player 1. And throw other players. That hurt. Player 2, I need some assistance. Player 2. Oh, see, if you target, if you're in face target mode and your crosshair's a little off, see how it wasn't perfectly flush on his character model, it'll miss. So you gotta be very precise. Also, that shouldn't have hit. Okay, I'm just gonna enable God mode. I don't wanna have to reload the game. Alright, let's figure out this dude. I should just allow my 2 range. I think I will now. So player 1's gonna keep dying. You can't toggle God mode when you're down. You have to wait till you get up, because it doesn't fly. Player 1 revived again. I get to show you guys more of the revive mechanic. So I guess that's a good thing, right? Alright, so player 1 is still not in God mode. See how the camera's rotating if your character's looking at the crosshair position and you don't want to do that while moving? Just switch it back. Sometimes I forget, and it's easy to forget. So let's just enable God mode and keep going into the sanctum now. Alright. So, as you probably noticed, there's been camera collisions this entire time. Hasn't been as bad as normal. In some areas, especially very narrow dungeons, you'll probably want to disable it. But this dungeon is pretty wide in comparison to some other ones that you'll come across. So for now, we'll keep camera collisions on. Okay, so I don't have to worry about it right now because I'm in God mode. It would have been fine if I just sprinted through. Finish off these Draugr. Got a guy with the bow up there. I wish I could show you some other projectile throwing shenanigans, but Unfortunately, I don't have a fire and forget spell like Ice Spike. Okay, let's see if I can hit this. It's not hitting it. There we go. It wasn't in there either. I'm going to try to bait him over here. Maybe I can do it that way. Seems hitting it. So yeah, sometimes the crosshair selection won't be working properly. In that case, you'll just have to use the activation cycling to activate things. Alright, let's finish off these guys. Everyone's gonna get in the action now. Melee range. Using a dagger. Big brain time. Alright, let's use something else. Actually, I'm going to give player 1 one of my two-handers I picked up. Let's give player 1 this. Player 1 can now use this steel warhammer. So we got a bow and got a warhammer. And I will grab player 2 to make this go faster and easier for me. Let's go up here. Oh, I got bumped off. Sorry. So yeah, you gotta be very careful when moving around while carrying another player. Sometimes it'll bump you because of the ragdoll. Somehow landed over here. Alright. Cool. I'm gonna just pick him up and put him further away from me. Alright. I think we're getting there now. Should be the puzzle room. Yep. The puzzle room. Time to put the claw in the keyhole. Alright, so I'll show you. Player 2 can do this as well. I don't remember the actual symbols, so it's bear, butterfly, owl. Alright, bear, butterfly, owl. Player 2 can do this. Owl. Boom. Now, press A on the keyhole, and it takes it from player 1 and puts it in. There you go. So you can activate these puzzle doors. I bet you really wanted to do that, right? Super useful. Alright, in we go. Alright. Here we go. The final part of the quest. There are the bats. That's a throwback. Okay. So we're going to just head up here. I'm still in God mode. Also, I haven't done this, even though I recommended it in the first video, but save frequently. So either quick save or save like that. Just in case something crashes or freezes the game and you'll have to redo all the stuff you just accomplished from the last save. There it is! Foos! Won't be able to use it yet. Gotta finish off this guy. Let me disable God mode. Let's try this without God mode. Oh, he's getting wrecked. Uh-oh, he's got frost. Okay. So I'm not even going to aim at him with my crosshair. I can just shoot at him with aim correction. And I drop my controller. It's going well. Okay, sorry about that. I dropped my controller. Let's see if we can get killed. Nope. There's the Dragonstone. So again, let's loot this with player 2 and see if it goes to player 1 as it should. So let's get player 1's crosshair off of him. And yep. Advance the quest, which means it's now in player 1's inventory. Okay, guys, that is a shorter showcase? I don't think so. I think it's just as long as the first, but I wanted to go through the binds again, at least the more common ones that you'll be using frequently. I wanted to show you guys at least part of a quest, and also some of the things that can happen, like dropping your controller on the ground. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can actually upload some more showcases. I hope you also make use of remote play together if you've thought about playing it with someone online. That is now a possibility. Just download remote play whatever onto the host's PC, log into Steam, launch the game, and then you can invite anyone on your friends list. And they won't have to have their own copy of Skyrim installed or any mods installed. It's all going to be on the host PC. So yeah, now you'll be able to play online with this mod. So anyway guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace.